Illegally?
Yes, sir.
Illegally, like someone stole it?
No.
Did all people that you got there were elected at the time go along with it? And then we found out later it was illegal? Or, you know,
from my conversations with the trustees who were on the board at the time, they were told by the Comptroller and by the auditor that the funds were there for expenditure. I do not believe that the village board members at that time or at this time knew that the village was running a deficit.
Not that I appreciate you trying to answer.
Sure.
Just, you know, so we catch it while we're going. So, the board, I mean, you know, does it pin down to one person? Did someone say, I have the right and I have the authority to spend this money, so I'm going to spend the money, and no one else can say anything or know anything?
I believe the Comptroller led people to believe that they were making expenditures appropriately. John Johnson was the chairman of the Finance Committee for a while, several years back. John wanted a new auditor to be appointed. He didn't feel comfortable with the same auditor being here for 34 years. A gentleman who was the auditor for 30-some years was hired by the village to be the Comptroller, and the same auditing company was kept. Best practices in the accounting industry indicate that every 3 years you should change your auditor. John suggested that we hire a new auditor, and he was removed from the finance chairmanship, and he was no longer given a copy of the budget. In order for him to get a copy of the budget, he had to file a Freedom of Information request in order to get a copy of the budget that he was required to vote on.
So from a layman's thing, John, then you might understand that was the auditor with whoever was, you know, top dog at the time, the mayor, whatever, if them two agreed with something, nobody else knew anything, and let's roll? No one else questions that. Where did this money come from?
The day after I was appointed, or the day after that I was sworn in, I had to sit down with Dave Huff, and he started explaining the financial condition of the village and told us that we didn't have any money and that we owed all this money. And I said, well, isn't it illegal to spend that TIF money? And he said, all of the municipalities do it. I checked around and I talked to other municipalities, and I don't know any other municipality that uses TIF money for operating expenses.
If he doesn't, if everybody doesn't, I mean, I can't, my brain right now is saying that somebody has to say, I agree, you can spend it. Right?
I think if the trustees knew the money was not there, they probably would have taken a different course. I wasn't there, so I can't answer that.
It's a red flag.
I can't answer the question very well. One person talking at a time. Yes, sir.
I apologize to go over there that has a budget that you said to go look at. Was there not a budget that was available at that time?
Right. Somebody
looked at it, because if I looked at it, I went like this. These numbers don't jive.
Juan Acevedo was on the board before. He wants to address your question.
Do you understand my...
I just got here May 4th, so I agree. I've been scratching my head.
Personal question. Do you understand if you were me, sitting here with me, you'd be wondering that too, right?
I've been thinking the same thing for 9 months, sir. I'm absolutely amazed.
Were you the attorney at that time?
Another question. You wanted to respond to that question?
No.
I'm sorry.
Was the village attorney during that time? I think you were.
No, I was a prosecutor, not the village attorney. Village attorney was Carino, Romello, and Durkin.
You used to go to court
for prosecutions. There's a different law firm that represented the village on corporate matters.
So you had no knowledge, you were not involved in village matters at all.
If you got a ticket for a stop sign, if you got a ticket for no headlights, if you got a ticket for driving without a vehicle sticker or anything else, I prosecuted it. 3 times a month for an hour and a half or 2 hours, I was over at the courthouse. I was stymied by John Johnson too. This administration didn't share any information with me and began to see me as an opponent to them, and I didn't have any conversations with Dan Pritchett for several years.
Yeah, I could be wrong, but my understanding is
Yep.
John, excuse me.
Juan, you wanted to respond to that? No?
Maybe
Well, one wanted to...
I just wanted to hear from you, though, so I can absorb it again, because there's a lot of stuff going on. You got up then, you waved the red flag, said, holy cow, there's houses on fire and everything?
Correct.
And what happened?
I got excommunicated.
Can you elaborate on that?
Well,
I mean, you're here now. You're here. I think I've seen you in the village hall a few times
right.
when I've been down there. So it's not like they shipped you to Afghanistan.
Well, no, but they, you know, information, you know, was not readily available to me after that. Once I kept saying that it wasn't adding up, you know, that we weren't doing good accounting practices having the same accounting firm for 35 years.
Right.
And I asked 7 years ago, I said, this is not a good thing, we need to change that. So then they said, oh, okay, and put me off. Then what came along is, I really got upset with when they changed, they let go we were on the third comptroller, okay? First comptroller didn't get along with the mayor and got fired. The second one, there was another altercation, whatever it was, and got fired. Then...
Are you